Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. With reference to giant leatherback turtle, which of the following statements is or correct? They are the largest sea turtle species and also one of the most migratory. They are found in all oceans except the Arctic and the Antarctic. They are listed in Schedule 1 of the India's Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, according them the highest legal protection. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. When you look into the first option, yes, they are the largest sea turtle species and they are most migratory as well. They are present in Atlantic, they are present in Pacific Ocean as well, and when it comes to the Indian Ocean, they are present in the regions of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and when it comes to India, they are present in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Why are they called as giant leatherback turtle? As we discussed, this is one of the largest sea turtle. That is why they are called as giant. And when it comes to leatherback turtles are named after their shell. Whenever you look at turtles, you have their shell and their shells are comparatively harder. But when you consider the leatherback turtle, when you touch it, it feels like the leather, which is why they are called as giant leatherback turtle. What we also have to focus is that when it comes to its distribution, the number of leatherbacks are dwindling. They're reducing over a period of time. What are the possible reasons to it? One is because of intense egg collection. They lay the eggs and people take away these eggs for the food habits. Apart from this, they are also the fisheries bycatch as well, which is why their numbers are dwindling. And when you look at the IUCN status of this particular turtle happens to be vulnerable. In order to protect them, we have the Schedule 1 of the India's Wildlife Protection Act, which has accorded highest legal protection. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. Amrutko River has its origin in Mount Tulia. The rivers in Great Nicobar Islands generally flow in southern or southwesterly direction. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is both. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following is are the rivers of Great Nicobar Island? Alexandra, Bahuda, Dogmar, Galatea and Taubal. The answer to this is 1, 3 and 4. Why have we taken both these practice questions? Because of the reference given under this article. So when you look into this particular article, it clearly makes a mention of three of the rivers. One is Alexandra, the other is Dogmar and the third is Galatea. All these rivers flow in the Great Nicobar Island. And when we look at Amrit Kaur River, as mentioned under this article and from the image, you can clearly see that it has its origin near Mount Tuliar. So as we can see in this image further, we have the Dogmar River, we also have Alexandria River, we also have Galatea River as well. As you look into this article, it further makes a mention of Galatea National Park. Where is this Galatea National Park? It is located on the island of Great Nicobar in the Nicobar Islands. So where is this Great Nicobar? Look into the map. We have the North Andaman here, we have the Middle Andaman, we have the Lower Andaman, and as you look into the Nicobar Islands, we have what is called as the Car Nicobar on the upper or the northern front. Then we also have the Little Nicobar followed by the Great Nicobar. So this Galatea National Park is currently in the Great Nicobar in the Nicobar Islands. Galatea also forms part of what has been designated as the Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve, which also includes the Campbell Bay National Park. Where is this Campbell Bay? As shown in the picture, it is present on the eastern side of Great Nicobar. So do remember all these important factual data. It can be important from your preliminary examination. What is this article speaking about? The article here is speaking about the government of India's plans to come up with new programs when it comes to Andaman and Nicobar. This happens to be a tourism project where infrastructure will be developed. They would be able to provide economic opportunities, employment opportunities, enhance the livelihood means and mechanisms of the people. But there is another angle attached to the development, that is you are deteriorating the pristine nature of this Great Andaman and Nicobar, which means to say that the pristine nature, the environmental paradigms and a shift towards the tourism means that there will be degradation of the environment. So as there is degradation, some of the regions where this particular giant leatherback turtle is currently present is in the Great Nicobar area. If there is construction, improvement in the infrastructure, this could also mean dwindling of the numbers, says this article. In fact, the government has come up with what is called as the National Marine Turtle Action Plan. According to this National Marine Turtle Action Plan, it goes on to say that Nicobar Islands is also considered according to this particular plan. On one side, we speak about saving these turtles, but on the other side, what are we doing? We are coming up with developmental projects which can be disasters for all these turtles. So what the government should do before it is taking up such a program, it has to make sure that all the stakeholders' viewpoints are considered, the environmentalist viewpoints are considered, and only then take up this tourism project is what is this article all about. Now let's look into the next practice question. SANS application developed by the Government of India is a travel portal that caters to the personal travel of the military and paramilitary forces personnel by aggregating defense fares, a tool for reporting any activity related to illegal coal mining like rat hole mining, pilferage, etc., a mobile application of Indian Railways which provides information as well as data related to e-tendering and e-auction related activities, and last option is an alternative to WhatsApp. So the SANS application developed by the Government of India is an alternative to WhatsApp. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given in the Indian Express article. So what is this SANS application all about? When you look into this particular application, this was developed by the Government of India and it was previously called Government Instant Messaging System. Why did the government come up with such an application? That is because there are number of applications in private. Let's say for example WhatsApp, or it can be Telegram as well, or any other application which can be developed by the private entrepreneurs or by the private organizations. When data is fed or it is being transmitted from the source to the destination, there can be a possibility of security breach in case they are government officials, and if they have held high positions in the government and they are interacting such a message, if it get leaked, that is where the government feels it can be catastrophic or disastrous for the safety and security of information. And as a result, the government has taken this particular platform, a new platform called as SANS, which was previously called as Government Instant Messaging System, where this particular messaging system or the application will be used by the government officials in India. As of now, it is only being used by the government officials. They are also making changes as well, and eventually down the lane this will also be introduced for the people of India. Why? Because as of now WhatsApp is coming up with terms and conditions, and the messages that we send each other might be placed in servers outside India as well, and there could be a possibility of privacy breach as well. And as a result, the government is coming up with its own application. This application is currently used by the government, and in the near future it can be used by people as well. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this particular article. Now let's look into the next question. With reference to inflation, which of the following statements is or correct? Inflation reduces the value of a currency's purchasing power. Producers are the most affected by inflation. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is one only. Why? That is because when it comes to the first option, inflation, yes, reduces the value of currency's purchasing power. Who will be the worst hit? It will not be the producers. Instead, it will be the consumers. So when will the producers be hit? They will be hit when there is the product's value goes on depreciating, when there is deflation in the system, when there is drop in the prices, but not when it is inflation. So when it is inflation, it is the consumers whose purchasing power goes down. They would not be able to buy that particular product in the market, and as a result, inflation reduces the value of currency's purchasing power. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given under this PIB article. Now let's look into the next practice question. What was the reason for Mahatma Gandhi to organize a satyagraha on behalf of peasants of Kheda? The administration did not suspend the land revenue collection in spite of a drought. The administration proposed to introduce permanent settlement in Gujarat. Which of the statements given above is correct? The answer to this is one only. Why? Because the second option is wrong, because the administration did not have any intentions of introducing the permanent settlement in Gujarat. So the first option is correct and the second option is wrong. So the answer to this is one only. This happens to be a previous year question. Now let's look into the fact of the day. We are speaking about the National Food Security Mission. What is this National Food Security Mission? When India's population was growing, what we had to have is the commensurate increase when it comes to the agricultural productivity. There was imbalance. Why? Because there was on one side increase of the population, but we were not able to have commensurate increase when it comes to the agricultural productivity. So we had to import a lot of food items as well in order to overcome this particular dearth. In order to meet to the increasing consumption, there was a need for increasing agricultural productivity, which is what is called as the National Food Security Mission. It was launched in 2007 and 8 to increase the production of rice, wheat and pulses. How? By increasing the area and productivity enhancement, by restoring the soil fertility and productivity. One of the major problems when it comes to India was we were using increasing fertilizers as well, which meant that soil fertility over a period of time was lost. So another aspect of this National Food Security meeting is not only to increase the area and productivity enhancement, but also make sure that soil fertility is regained over a period of time, so that ultimately the productivity enhances and we are able to meet the consumerate demand when it comes to the population. This also give rise to employment opportunities, and at the same time this will also increase the livelihood means and mechanisms for the farmers. How? When there is increased productivity, when there is increased yield, they'll have more money in their hands, which will enhance the farm level economy. So we also have the core cereals, which are also included under this particular mission in the year 2014 and 15. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.